The rain hammered down, relentless and unforgiving. Streets had turned to rivers, and houses sat half-drowned beneath the rising floodwaters. The storm had come swiftly, swallowing the small village without mercy. Emily clutched her little brother, Oliver, as they huddled together on the roof of their home. The water lapped dangerously close to the edge, creeping higher by the minute. Their parents had gone to fetch supplies earlier that morning and hadn't returned. Now, they were alone, shivering beneath the storm. "It's going to be okay, Ollie," Emily whispered, though fear laced her voice. She tightened her arms around him, shielding him from the cold rain. Down the street, Daniel struggled to keep his small wooden boat steady. The currents tugged and twisted, trying to rip the oars from his hands, but he rowed with all the strength he had left. He had spent the day rescuing neighbors, guiding them to higher ground, but exhaustion was starting to gnaw at him. Through the veil of rain, Daniel spotted the two children on the rooftop. His heart thudded. Without a second thought, he turned the boat towards them, weaving through the debris, broken branches, floating furniture, and even pieces of shattered fences. "Hold on. I'm coming," he shouted, his voice barely cutting through the storm. Emily's eyes widened with hope. She waved frantically, her hand trembling from cold and fear. Oliver whimpered, burying his face into her soaked jumper. Daniel dug the oars into the water, his muscles burning as he fought the surging tide. The boat rocked violently, nearly tipping as a wave crashed against its side. But he didn't stop. Gritting his teeth, he pushed forward until he finally reached the house. "Come on, quickly," he called, steadying the boat as best he could. Emily carefully lowered Oliver down into Daniel's waiting arms, then climbed in herself, her legs trembling. No sooner had they settled than another rush of water surged through the street, slamming into the side of the boat. It spun wildly, nearly capsizing. Daniel threw his weight to one side, using the oars to steady them. The boat groaned, but held. He took a shaky breath and began rowing again, determined to get the children to safety. As they moved through the flooded village, Oliver clung to Emily, his small fingers curled tightly around her sleeve. Daniel rowed in silence, his jaw clenched against the ache in his arms. He didn't stop until they reached the hill where other villagers had gathered, watching the destruction below with tearful eyes. When they reached dry land, Emily turned to Daniel, her voice breaking. "Thank you. You saved us." Daniel wiped the rain from his face, breathless but smiling. "I'm just glad I got to you in time." The storm raged on, but on that hilltop, surrounded by neighbors and strangers alike, they were safe. And in that moment, safety felt like a miracle.